Welcome to The Bubble. The Bubble received an email from Panica visiting professor Joanna Granville organizing an event on November 19th, saying that her event will be closed to all student media except the AUBG Daily. Given that this sets a precedent on campus, we decided to ask AUBG students.
I don't really think it is possible to even restrict any kind of event to the coverage of just one media, because the events are public and whoever wants is absolutely welcome to come. It doesn't really give motivation to other clubs who also deal with the media coverage to even participate in events like that.
I do not approve students being restricted or students' media being restricted by what event they can cover and what not. The point of a student media is to cover everything on campus. It doesn't matter if the event is controversial or not.
Well, my understanding is that since the event covers media blackout in a post-communist country where we know that there is media censorship, so my understanding would be that they would want to show practically how it happens that only one media is allowed to be present in a certain event and to cover it, which actually happens a lot, in this kind of countries. So I think that would be a great idea if that's what they want to demonstrate in this AUBG Daily cover and not other media on campus.
Events that spur debate are common on campus. For example, when the conflict between Russia and Ukraine was happening, an event was held to debate the situation. All student media were welcome. We wanted to know why some student media were being restricted. Only one student-run medium other than us received an email about the coverage restriction of the event on November 19th.
No, we haven't received anything, and partially I'm surprised and maybe even a little bit humiliated, because we are also student media, independent one, and we are on the campus for a long time. It's my 5th year on campus, and I haven't heard anything like that happening at any point during my staying here, and I think that is something that kind of really prevents the free right of the press and our ability as independent media to cover whatever we want.
I think we have asked her to record it, but we haven't gotten a reply yet.
As a representative from the admissions office, I haven't received any restrictions concerning the event, but I don't think that's a problem, because what I'm doing is taking pictures. I'm not covering the story of the event. But as a student journalist, I believe that since it's a public event and it's a public speaker and it's being advertised on campus, that student media have every right to cover it, and that nobody should impose any restrictions on that.
I personally received an email from Professor Johanna where she asks me to ask the Purple not to cover this event, because it's her personal event, as this was my impression of the first email, because this is her own event and she doesn't want it to be covered by any media except for AUBG Daily with no background information provided. Our answer as the Purple was that we will honor her request and we will not film the event if this is what she wants. She cannot allow only one media to cover this and ban all the other ones. Either she bans this for everyone or she allows everyone to cover it. Because who is to say that if she's worried about biased writers or things being taken out of context, how can she tell that someone from AUBG Daily is a better writer or is a better journalist, I don't know, a more fair journalist than someone from another club or any other journalist or independent journalist on campus?
The fact that AUBG Daily is allowed is just the fact that we've talked, and as the president of AUBG Daily, I do appreciate that people trust us to cover their events, and that I can take as a compliment. What I don't take as a compliment that we are put in this position where AUBG Daily seems to be, for some reason, more special than everybody else. Just the way that the information is served. I mean, I think if they want to make it closed for the media and then invite us to cover it exclusively, that's not necessarily not okay, but I don't think other media should have been informed in this way. And whatever I might have recommended or said, I never intended that was going to be the result of it. I'm trying to help. It turns out that indirectly I've helped offend other media at AUBG, and I don't agree with that. Maybe this is something for the university to think about if there's, I don't even know if there's a policy about it, maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but maybe something that they should think about, so it's okay when this happens, or it's not okay when this happens.
AUBG professors from the history and journalism departments were asked their opinion on the matter.
In terms of when we're looking at public events, particularly that are listed as public events, it is one that you would think would then be allowed to be covered by all. And so then it would be any of the media that would be present through there. And, but again, in terms of larger policies for the institution, that's always going to be, you know, the institution that sets those kinds of policies. So I think you'd have to have clear policies, so, and making sure that it's understood. I think that it's also completely legitimate for then different news organizations to question the policy. Just because there is a policy doesn't mean that it's set in stone forever and that we just have to obey it. It means we may have to obey it at that time, but we can still question it. The harm to an individual outweighs the right of the public to know.
I don't understand what happened in this occasion. Probably it's just, I mean, a general misunderstanding between the organizer and some other media people, because our policy concerning media organization, students' media organization, and communication between the main faculty members and media organization, it's pretty clear. I mean, and there's no any form of discrimination, and there's not such a thing, because it's of course clear is our mission not to discriminate any student body groups.
After the issue was brought up to the Dean of Faculty, Lucia Myri, she commented on the new developments.
Well, that was a miscommunication. My initial reaction was shock, and I wrote to the person involved. And she just came to see me a few minutes ago. And she has concerns about distractions of media standing up and taking pictures in front of people watching the audience. And I've been supported, I mean, watching the presentation, I've been supported by other faculty who have found it fairly intrusive during the presentation to have pictures and people walking in front of other people. So what our agreement is, which seems very reasonable to me, is that she will hold a media session, a photographic session, at 7 o'clock to 7:15 in the room, and she'll pose for photographs then. And the media will be allowed in the presentation, all media and all students that can fit in there, but there will be no photographs, no recording audio or video during the presentation itself.
And what is the policy, AUBG's policy on student media and covering events?
I don't know of a policy. I don't know of a policy. Mm-hmm. There is a media board. I don't know the policy. These are not, it's not an official, these are, they're under student government as I understand them.
Okay.
But they are not officially, they're not university media. They're student-run media, student organizations. And even our own media, the university official media, will not be taking photographs or recording anything during the event. And I do personally believe from talking with her, and I'm very been persuaded, it is not about the content. It's about her personal desire and her comfort level. Mm-hmm. I think that we are in favor of transparency and free press. And I think if you let one student organization in, they should all come in personally.
Well, initially the plan was to have only AUBG Daily.
Yeah.
Do you know what the reason was behind that?
No, I think probably misinformation on someone who's only been here 2 months and not understanding the process. And she was not even sure about which media, how the media worked, if it was university or, I mean, she's new here.
We looked up the policies within the Student Media Board Constitution in the 2014 Student Handbook. In the Student Code of Rights and Responsibilities under Section C, Student-Sponsored Forums, it states, all members of the university community must recognize their responsibility to uphold the right of free speech and to permit invited speakers to appear and speak without inappropriate interruption or demonstration. Each member of the university community is entitled to hear all sides of controversial issues represented. Under Section E, Student Publications and Media, it says, the student press and media shall be free of censorship and advance approval of copy, while being governed by the canons of responsible journalism. With the new developments, AUBG student media are not being censored. However, the Media Board does prohibit censorship if the issue comes up, but does not mention limitations. The bubble gave Professor Joanna Granville opportunities to comment on the issue. They were unsuccessful. Reporting for The Bubble, I'm Thomas Naglis.